there is this general belief, I mean, people moralize it that if we can't create life, we have no right to kill. That's on the one hand. If you can't create, then you have no right to kill. So that's on the no. But on the yes side is that when I look at about 14 countries that still do have the death penalties in their status books, when you look at the corruption level, is very minimal over there. And I have a list of them. You have China, you have Japan, you have Iran, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, now Korea, you have Argentina, Botswana in Africa, that's the only one in Africa. Then you have Brazil, Canada, Chile, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, and then the USA. Now, when you look at all these countries I've mentioned here, but by the way, UK abolished there in 1965, actually. For about 60 years, they've not carried out any death. So when you look at all these countries I've mentioned, I mean, you look at the level of corruption there is very, very, very low because of the fear in China, for instance, Saudi Arabia, because of the fear of if you did anything wrong, your head was gone. Your head was gone. So can there be maybe a middle of the road? Will we borrow from this and borrow from this?
No, I think you said that it depends on the amount you
Yes, it says so. Yes, you so exactly.
Depends on the kind of.
Can there be a hybrid of something? Maybe not death penalty, but punitive measures that are heavy, not to serve as a deterrent. Maybe that, because as I said, the world is moving away from
capital punishment.
But again, if you move away from it, has it helped you in the fight against corruption? Look at Africa. We don't have death penalty apart from Botswana. That's in Africa. So, but look at the level of corruption. So, which is why I say yes and no. So, my yes is that yes, it might help us to reduce to the barest minimum the rate of corruption. But
all right, Asuka, I'll come to you here. Do you agree with Peter Obi? Because if you remember, former President Buhari said something that if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. First of all, let me ask you, do you agree with the former presidential candidate?
Just like Charles said, yes and no.
You also want to sit on the fence?
The thing is, I will say no.
No. Okay.
Because death penalty, just like he said, when you don't have the power to produce life, you cannot take life. That is it.
Okay.
There are things and ways at which you can help reduce corruption. If we strengthen our judiciary, because so many people do not believe that, he's also one of them who don't believe that our judiciary can, have that strength to deliver. But if we strengthen our judiciary, if we strengthen our judiciary, corruption will reduce.
But you know that when...
Now, this is how I want to, because in every democratic setting, you have the lawmakers. If the lawmakers, are there and they are giving us laws, stringent laws, he has said something about 10 years or life imprisonment. Okay. I think I prefer that than taking life.
But another thing, gentlemen,
if you say life imprisonment, and that life imprisonment, you still add some other conditions to it and say somebody has been caught for
heavy penalties.
Somebody has been caught stealing. The judiciary should make sure that they finish this case in 1 month.
Okay.
And if you are found, you go for life imprisonment.
And all the proceeds of crime,
everything that is around you, including your family members, should be confiscated. That is what they do in China. You understand? Everything around you. Something that is so that once you see anything corruption, you will run away. It might not be you leaving the world, but at least something that by the time you are in prison, even when you are in prison, they can even add that hard labor.
But they say hard labor.
You understand?
But another thing, gentlemen, is when public servants embezzle money meant for health care, meant for education, you're not just stealing the money, but you're stealing lives. You're stealing opportunities. You're stealing future. But another thing I want to ask you, gentlemen, is there a one-size-fits-all approach in dealing with corruption?
It's difficult
in Nigeria.
For now, the cure-all, the cure-all would have been the death penalty, has been suggested by but which of course I said as a yes, no. But again, apart from adding to, let me build upon what he said. The judiciary is one of the aspects. It's an integral part of the whole level of fighting. But I think that there is a loose corporate governance Now, if you tighten corporate governance and make stealing difficult, so it is cheaper for preventive than curative, as they say.
Okay.
It's cheaper for you to prevent than trying to look for cure. Because somebody will be caught, you now have to be paying police to do those. Because you are somebody stole money, you are still spending money to get the person, whatever. But if you prevent, for instance, I'm not going to mention brand, but say federal government agency. I drove there with a friend of myself, wanted to set up a company. Someone don't recognize me. Charles, what are you doing here? You should have a laptop. Go home and do that. You register a company by yourself. I said, but I'm not a notary public. He said, it doesn't matter. Do you know that truly I have to register a company for my sister-in-law, a limited liability company I registered, and the certificate was sent to me. Now, there was no human interface. I didn't have to say, somebody would say, carry file from one place to the other, which of course used to be. So that's where a proper corporate governance has been put in place to reduce, if you can't eliminate, but reduce the human interface. If there is this human interface, somebody will be asking you, happy weekend. Now, happy weekend,
it means something. it means a lot.
So if you eliminate the incidence of human interface, make everything, you just make everything to be
digital and all.
Internet, just as I mentioned example. You pay online, you do all this one, they say.
All right, gentlemen.
I think
the Holy Book says that when the Lord marks iniquity,
nobody will stand.
Who shall stand? Okay, good. The fight against corruption, where should the fight start from? Is it from the top, the leaders, or from the bottom, if you're to recommend?
Well, I think it should start from the bottom.
Okay, bottom-top approach?
Yes.
Why?
Because we are the bottom, are the ones that make those at the top. We are the people that elect those at the top. If we are not, for instance,
don't you think if it starts from the top,
it
will inspire?
I disagree with you.
Because listen, everybody keeps saying the leaders are always corrupt. They're always corrupt.
But
do you know that we too, we are the ones that also make them corrupt? Let me tell you. Take for instance, ask most of the lawmakers, most politicians. They will tell you that anytime they come to the house, when they say, okay, XYZ, we want to build a school for you, or I'm going to build a school for you, I'm going to do this. Our people, most of the people will say, no, I do not want to give us the money. So how do you hold on? Okay, how do you now want the politician to give you the hospital? How do you now want the politician to give you the school? If not because we are asking for money. Some people say, oh, we are the ones that weaponize, the politicians that weaponize poverty. But if the politician is saying, I want to build a school, I want to build a hospital for you.
And you're saying, no, give
me money. Then who do you blame? And then if the politician is saying, okay, I've not gotten, maybe I'll look XYZ. And then don't forget, some people feel that once someone is a lawmaker, somebody who is going to make law, that person it means that he has gone to Abuja to go and pack money.
Exactly.
We have forgotten that he's making laws for us. And that is, the only thing I feel is just, we need to start changing our mindset. We should not see our politicians, yes, I know that now, it will take a long time for politicians to change their attitude, the way, the values, everything. But we, below, we must start thinking like, like we are not, because I know Charles will say we disagree, but my own, I feel that we must start from ourselves.
We must start from ourselves.
No, we can. We can, because if a politician is taking, if it's taking forever for him to change, is it people that look up to them that will change? The man, he said, the community talked about want to give a hospital. They said no. They know that politician is a thief. They know that. Who took them there? They know that this person don't mind him. This project is talking about now. You may say it's about 5 million. Only God knows how much it's going to take. Let's give us our own thing. Wait, I'm telling you. I have 2 examples to give about how to fight it from the top to bottom.
Talk to me.
2 examples. Number 1, I have an example in the late Murtala Mohammed. Some of us were taught as that. I was very small. When Murtala Mohammed came to power through a Porsche or something.
Yeah, in 75.
He purged himself first. He purged himself first and began to. So you couldn't pin anything on him. So when you are working with someone, you know the person, you can't find anything on you yourself. By default, you repair your impropriety. Number one. Number two, I have two examples. Okay. The second example is, although that one was became I don't know. Somebody said body language became body odor. Something.
I'm
PMB. When PMB was sworn in, was inaugurated in 2015. For about 6 months, everybody was afraid because they said, remember this body language? Everybody's afraid because we don't know what this man. So you see that everybody was looking up to him. I said, this man is incorruptible. Okay. So if I did anything wrong, I could be hanged for it. It was later when they tried, everybody else, this is business as usual. So if you want corruption, fight against corruption to be more effective, it has to be
from the top.
Those who are there should better purge themselves, clean up the image to say that they are not stealing. Then those who are saying, if they are not saying, we can also steal. But if they know they steal, the people don't steal.
All right, gentlemen,
I still feel
that it has to start from the bottom.
Because before you see a politician, it starts from the society.
That is why you have two. That is why it seems to you that you have two sets of laws.
You know, so
one, if somebody steals a tuber of yam, for instance, he goes to jail, but somebody steals about 100 billion. Then you are talking about a plea bargaining. Come on.
All right. Now, some would say that whether it starts from the top or the bottom, let it just start.
It should start from
now. Another thing is, I've heard arguments that instead of hounding corrupt persons, let us strengthen our institutions. That when we strengthen our institutions, corruption would die.
Yeah, which is what I talked about
Do you agree with that?
No, of course, we need to strengthen our institutions because if what we usually have now is that people just tend to look at other people for them to be able to decide. Don't look at if the EFCC is strengthened and the EFCC wants to do its work, it shouldn't be saying, I want to call one person before I take decision.
I'm not looking at the individual.
Same with judiciary. That's why I say
the judiciary. Yes, exactly.
You understand? Strengthen the judiciary. Once you strengthen the judiciary, anybody that steals, whether the person is anybody, whether governor, president, anything,
no matter how highly placed.
Yes.
Can I also disagree with you?
You want to disagree with that?
I also want to disagree with him.
When the institution is strengthened, everybody will know that it is the institution that will deal with the person.
Exactly.
It's the institution. And from years to years, from generation to generation, is that same institution that will deal with that.
But there are people, people are in those institutions.
Yeah, apart from
all right, talk to me.
Why I said disagree with me is that it's a good thing to strengthen
institutions.
But how can you strengthen an institution where in that institution the head of the institution is appointed by the president, for instance, or the government? No, that's how I'm going. See, for instance, let's look at INEC. If you take the power to appoint the chairman of INEC, whatever name, from the president, let him be voted. I don't know whatever nomenclature they can do, to whatever modus operandi to take. You see that he will rather be accountable to the people rather than be accountable. I about the Inspector General Police too. Okay, there's supposed to be a people's police, but the president will be the one who will also appoint him. So if you want to strengthen an institution, they say who pays the pipe, who pays power.
So what I'm saying,
strengthening the institution, you must also take the power from a single person to appoint.
Yes, good.
To a college, maybe a college.
Now what I'm talking about is if there is an institution, and you want that institution to be effective.
Well, I'm only giving you a way to strengthen the thing.
Yes, now so if you want that institution to be strengthened, we must also find ways of making it strong.
Which is why I'm giving these factors.
Exactly. So if you feel that the president is going to interfere, remove the powers from the president. If you want it to be voted for, or you want the president to be, fine, we put it there in our laws. That anybody that wants to come will do a background check. We are going to vote for the person, or maybe the lawmakers will be the ones. You understand? But the thing is, that institution has to be protected. Because if the institution is protected and is strengthened, everybody will look up to that institution. They will be afraid of that institution, not being afraid of one person. Knowing that, or maybe I commit a crime, I know that, don't worry, I'll go and meet one man and he's going to, you know, set me free.
All
you
right,
understand?
gentlemen. All right, gentlemen. Beautiful conversation. Beautiful, brilliant conversation.
Last time I talk about this, I don't get it. This country is dying by the day, Mr. Talba. Innocent people are being killed.
Start with the biggest one. The biggest issue for the country over the past 1.5 decades or so, insecurity. There is this growing sense that we have gained a lot of ground, but recently you feel like the stability or the gains are slowly but surely slipping away with the developments that we've seen in the North Central over the past 2 months and what appears to be a resurgent insurgent attacks in Northeast, especially the epicenter of the Boko Haram insurgency in Maiduguri. Is it fair for Nigerians to say that the words of the government through the armed forces or the other security architecture are no longer matching the action?
Yeah, because for the common man, security is when he leaves his house, goes to his place of business or worship centers, or go about doing visitations and at peace without any cause to look back and be afraid of any kind of threat. But the moment you are threatened, there is no longer freedom of movement. You can't go about either to educational facilities or health or anywhere. Then certainly you'll be worried about security. And in the case of the Boko Haram, Mr. Talba, Nigerians are already tired of every day back and forth with the government policies and the security actions. It is true when you say the government, policy is not matching with the action. It is the right way to describe it, because this is being sincere as a Nigerian and getting worried because I'm a northerner, and again, as a concerned person, sympathetic to the people of Borno State and the general area that Boko Haram threaten, because this is how many years today? Sometimes you get to wonder what is happening. Without anything, everything goes down, and there will be this temporary happiness. There is no more insecurity. We've gotten back some territories. We are going about doing our businesses. And again, just recently, resurgence. We have seen it with high magnitude. No any traces of. There is what we call intelligence gathering, Mr. Talba. In every security architecture, there is what we call intelligence gathering. Is there a deliberate attempt to undermine the intelligence gathered and not putting it to use, or the mechanisms that are meant or positioned for this intelligence gathering are no longer effective? Because it's two things, humans and machines. So if we are talking about the human being, one of the soldiers in the barrack that were attacked in Mate made a statement that he betrayed us, and he mentioned his name. He said Sharu betrayed us. I don't know if you saw it. Sharu,
it wasn't a barracks per se, it was like a military outpost.
It's the same thing. You can call it a barrack because there are personnel there. So he said somebody betrayed them. We see him every time among us and we feel he is part of us. He is a member of the civilian joint task force. So there was already that sense of, is he welcome into us? Should we welcome him in the first place? But there was laxity. They were relaxed, and the guy saw the position and he gave it away. But again, this is not even the issue. So many things surrounding insecurity. One of it is welfare. These soldiers at the war front, we keep talking about these things. Are they properly taken care of? And this civilian joint task force, as we call them, that usually partners with our security forces to help them in information gathering, how do you compensate them? Are they well taken care of too? If you give me an office today, one of the reasons why most people not really justifying because it's not proper and it's completely illegal to say you justify corruption. But most people make a case for illegalities in Nigeria because you ask me not to be corrupt. But with the biting economy that is both global and locally domestic in this country, you find somebody receiving 70,000 naira and you don't want him to be corrupt. It's the same thing even with the soldiers at the war front. Maybe the civilian joint tax force person is just giving 20 or 30,000 naira at the end of the month as a stipend for him because
with all the risk. You're saying the risk versus the reward ratio is...
And he's giving an information that is worth maybe millions of naira. Now imagine if this guy can be traced easily with the Boko Haram member. And look, guy, we know what you are doing for us. And these guys have been dealing with us, but we want to teach them a lesson. Take and they throw 2, 3, 5 million naira to him. Maybe something he has not seen with the military for the past 2 years. And he has been giving his best, risking his life. And he is giving this money in a day. Right. Tell me how he will not. If he doesn't have conscience, he will throw everything away.
Right. Okay. Let's have a listen to the Chief of Defense Staff speaking to State House correspondents immediately after that security meeting with the president.
Thank you very much.
It's another very important meeting with Mr. President.
Very well.
What may we know about this meeting?
It's one of assurance. I think our meeting today is for us to review the entire security situation in the country. The president is concerned about what's going on, and we have reassured him that we're on top of our game. We're working extremely very hard. What has happened of recent is that there's a global push by terrorists and jihadists all over the Sahel area, and that pressure is what actually came into Nigeria because of the nature of our borders. And so we have, Mr. President has given directives as to what to do next for us to intensify all efforts, collaborate with all our sister countries around, because it is the porous nature that is coming there that is actually aggravating our own issues on ground. And so all our theaters have been enhanced, equipments have been bought. Mr. President has also given us much approvals for air assets and other aspects of security. And like we said, it's not only the kinetic effort, the non-kinetic aspects that is most important. The President is also looking at the aspects of also discussing with the governors for their own support, buy-in in ensuring that dividends of democracy also extends to the communities to be able to stamp down the issue of insecurity. And we're working together. You can see we're together with the National Security Advisor, the NSA, the DGDSS, and all other ones. So we're working together as a team. And you can see us here, members of the armed forces, working in unity, including the police, to make sure that Nigeria is peaceful. And that is our mandate, and that we work towards. We want to appeal to all Nigerians not to get tired. And they should be wary of fake news. There's a lot of fake news that has been spread out, making it look, most of the videos being circulated are videos from other countries or old videos, making it look as if it is new. And you know, you always want to wonder, why do some individuals feel happy when things go bad in their country? If Nigeria is destroyed, all of us will go down. And so it is important that we all cooperate with members of the armed forces and security agencies. If we see something that is going wrong anywhere in the country, let us report. Action will be taken, including our own personnel. If we see them doing what is not supposed to be done, they should take a report and we'll take action. We want to thank all Nigerians for the support we've been getting. Thank you.
It's good to know that the President has given you this new momentum to improve on what you've been doing, and you are giving the assurance too. Some governors have been raising concerns, Borno, Plateau, and some of them. What assurance are you giving the residents of those states now?
Yeah, we're working together. Not long ago we went to the northeast together with the ministers. The Chief of Defense and other services have gone. Yesterday I just came out from Maiduguri to show you that we're working together with all the governors, because we know we cannot do it alone. We need also the governors to be part of it. The federal government is doing so much. States need to come in, local governments and communities. Everyone has a role to play in ensuring that there's peace in Nigeria, and that's what we try to push, and that's what we're doing. And we're happy that Nigerians are warming up to it. Disregarding all those ones, you know, they are naysayers, those ones that don't mean us well. We're shaming them, because we're going to continue to succeed. That we assure all Nigerians.
Right, that is General Christopher Musa, the Chief of Defense Staff, speaking to State House correspondent immediately after that security meeting, which of course is against the backdrop of the resurgence of attacks by Boko Haram insurgents in successive days, one might add, across the north, central and southern parts of Borno State, the epicenter of the Boko Haram insurgency. And this is not just Boko Haram attacks, there's also been recorded attacks by ISWAP members in different parts of the state over the past couple of weeks. Engineer, it's safe to say that Nigerians listening to the general could say that this message, we've heard it before in 2014, we've heard it before under the Buhari administration, and now we're hearing it again. There's that sense of deja vu, assurances, we're doing whatever we can, air assets, approvals, all of these things. Why are the words just simply not matching the actions in terms of what is actually happening on the ground right now?
We come back to the same thing, like you said, sincerity. Sincerity of purpose. Mr. Talba, the same Chief of Defense Staff the last time said there are foreign elements that were traced down to Benue State, perpetrating, mayhem to the people of Benue State, not the indigenous herders that were, initially suspected. And you get to start wondering. Benue State is a landlocked state in Nigeria, bordering Taraba State, Niger State, Nasarawa, every Plateau State. All these states are borders to Benue State, and they are landlocked. Benue State is in nowhere a border state with
doesn't share any international border.
Right. But foreign herders will come into Nigeria, move between 700 to 1,000 kilometers, traversing this country on their foot.
Are you saying the explanation doesn't make sense?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And that's what I'm saying, sincerity. So is it that they are not really giving us the actual information, or there's something to hide? For example, the Chief of Defense Staff is talking about push from the Sahel. Where is the evidence? If you have your reconnaissance, air reconnaissance assets, and it is okay when the president gives approval for air assets, but before now, this is just to boost it. It's not as if there was no air asset. The existing air asset, do they have any air reconnaissance, that gave this information there was a push from the Sahel? And if there is, where is the evidence?
To be fair, we're witnessing and observing developments in Mali. We're seeing the attacks by the JNIM terrorist group in Burkina Faso. I mean, these things are happening at a global level where we can witness and make comments about.
I agree. And this should also bring about the discussion of reintegrating ourselves with our brothers, with our sister countries, who left us on a mere, accusation of, yes, there was a coup d'etat, they refused to go back to democracy, there were sanctions, there was this and that, it was not managed well, they were threatened, and they pulled out. Today. A lot of things are happening. Yes, you can put that as one of the factors. But what I'm saying, in essence, is I don't know if you are aware, a sitting member House of Representatives in the plenary session make accusation, allegedly, that from 1999 to date, over 19 trillion naira was spent on security. 19 trillion naira, Mr. Talba. Just in the previous administration, the Buhari administration, we knew of when $1 billion was withdrawn from the excess crude account for the purpose of procurement of sophisticated, military equipments to help in combating insecurity. But we never, whenever there is a show of force, because show of force is a routine in every country or locality to demonstrate readiness, and which will help to deter any form of, sabotage. But again, whenever there's a show of force, you only get to see personnel with some, scattered equipments. That are even locally fabricated. You don't get to see the commensurate, demonstration of what was given, the expenditure, and the equipment that...
Are you saying the Tinubu administration is towing the same line that the Buhari administration, followed and the Goodluck administration followed when it comes to managing the security question?
100%, and it's not helping matters. Goodluck, in his time, made a statement, Mr. Talba. He said, and I quote, that there are fifth columnists. I don't know if you can remember his statement. There are fifth columnists in his own administration. They were never mentioned. Buhari administration took over promising Nigerians they were going to shame sponsors of Boko Haram and bandits and IPOB. We never saw it. Now, we are expecting, yes, there were a number of people accused, BDCs. You don't even get to see who was arrested, but the matter goes down under the carpet, no more. Now, if these things are happening, the president should be firm. These military guys today, I'm not raising accusing fingers, but just go out, just on the road. Today in this town, when you hear people buy expensive properties, you hear there are military people, security people, either police or military, or senior directors in the civil service.
Are you connecting
of course,
an imaginary dot or something?
Absolutely, because, Mr. Talba, this is because security now has become business. Because ordinarily, these are things we can end. Remember, before Buhari came, he said that he will end Boko Haram in 6 months to 1 year. But he stayed with it for 8 years. And the remaining was story. It's kinetic and unkinetic. We cannot do this. We need to be sincere with this country.
Right.
When you find people that are connected to this Boko Haram activity in the northeast, or the bandit in the northwest, or the IPOB, all these terrorist organizations that have been labeled in this country, when you find people directly or indirectly sponsoring, I know the NFIU have been doing their best. Yes, is with the effort of the federal government in making sure any funds that comes into the country that are deemed illicit or suspicious of any form of threat are being frozen, or arrest is being made. But the thing is, I have not seen, this Mr. A, who is an icon in this, who is a big man in the country, an elite, was arrested because he was traced, with funds that he could not explain or were traced to Boko Haram's sponsorship or banditry or IPOB. And just of recent, in Delta State, we saw a Nigerian British major with his friends who were found illegally in this country with rifles and thousands of armors.
But that's surely a positive development, isn't it? That
yes,
our security architecture is actually functioning.
Of course, that has been uncovered, But again, we want to be. Let me tell you what usually discourages people that are scrupulous in nature. The moment one is arrested and is being, made public, investigation is going on, other arrest is taking place. Those that are having the intention to come to the table will certainly take a step back. But in a situation where somebody is arrested, you never hear about it again. I am waiting. I really want to follow up with this because I've been hearing investigation is taking place. Feed Nigerians. Feed Nigerians, because how did they come to Nigeria with these arms and ammo? How? He was arrested at the airport about boarding the plane to leave the country when he was arrested, the major. He's a Nigerian, meaning he is sabotaging the country. Just of recent, we saw what happened during the River State crisis when there was attack on our oil facilities and even attack on the refinery that was recently refurbished. So this sabotage, Mr. Talba, look, insecurity is in two forms, either external or internal. And these external factors that contribute to insecurity are usually as a result of all this network of terrors, of network of terror group bordering your nation, or from any distance, because when they are determined, they will come. And secondly, you look at the regional crisis, of course, which is where you place the Burkina Faso, the Mali, and the rest. It's there. We are not disputing Chad. But again, you come to look at internally, what have we been doing as a nation? If we say we have been given $1 billion to buy sophisticated, military equipment, where are they? there was a time in this country that we had continuous crashing of our helicopters, killing innocent pilots. Simply, and later there was conspiracy theories flying that the helicopters both were refurbished. They were not brand new. So, and you get to see these officers retiring, building houses, running into billions of naira, and nobody investigates. You cannot be a civil servant serving this country, even if your salary is 10 million naira, and you build a house of 5-10 billion naira. It's not possible.
I mean, surely,
so we should try.
Surely you would acknowledge that even if there's this perception or speculation that there are bad eggs, which is quite natural to some extent. Everywhere you go, there are bad eggs. No matter how advanced the country is, it is the job of the security architecture to fish them out.
Yes.
Surely you have to acknowledge that there are many more people who are trying to solve the problem.
I am not disputing that, but at the moment now, where are the good people? If the good effort, was higher than the bad one, we should have been seeing, a positive report. But the sabotage, the last time I talked about this sabotage thing, people who want Boko Haram to remain, or banditry in the Northwest, or the IPOP thing, they seems to be stronger, maybe even more stronger than the government in this country. That's just the bitter truth. Because there is no way, if government is serious and there's a suspicion on a particular individual for sponsoring Boko Haram, an investigation has taken place, and he is found culpable, and he's been arrested, that his friends or his allies will not take step backs from this. But in a situation where the government is willing to go to bed with criminals, I don't get it. This country is dying by the day, Mr. Talba. Innocent people are being killed. Look at these soldiers that were killed innocently. And it's not just in Borno. Every part of the country. Is it hunger killing you, or Boko Haram looking for you to kill? There has to be this demonstration of sincerity of purpose. If you are a military man,